No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Welcome to Spin a Yarn Knife, the Tea Time Book Club and Crafting Circle,
Hiya.
where we're talking about Ancillary Mercy, yay, the final book in the Radch Trilogy. So, connect to the stream by tweeting at hashtag YarnItAll or Reddit at r/spinayarnknife and enter the Radch Trilogy Episode 3 discussion thread, and you can interact with us there. Or if you're my mom, you can text me. So, interact with us. Let us know. Interact with us, but let us know what you are working on for this episode and what you're working on.
Okay. So last week I did finish my crocheted infinity scarves. So that's why you don't see me working on it. So I am yet again continuing my work on the princess pullover for my friend. So in this nice purple. And I'm not sure if I mentioned the sleeves are done. I'm just working on the midsection today. Well, I mean for now. I won't be able to finish it in a day. It's not gonna happen. But yeah, so that's what I'm working on.
Cool.
I feel like I should... Well, no, that's kind of plugging my own self. That's fine. Let's continue onward.
I mean, you can plug your own self.
Okay, well...
I mean, I've plugged my gaming channel a few times.
This is true. Okay, so first, I need to do this today or tomorrow or at some point. I'm going to start doing my own videos that are instructional videos. So we're going to start off with like your basic long tail cast on for knitting. And maybe even an intro to crochet, although I'm not sure if me doing crochet videos is such a good idea because I'm such a beginner at them. But maybe I'll start like a crochet channel and y'all can watch me fail and it would maybe be funny. I don't know. If you also go to CatherineSHelene.com or .wordpress, possibly .wordpress.com. I have a blog up called Another Yarnaholic, and I'm going to be starting a Facebook page around that as well. I haven't started my Facebook page yet. I suspect that's my mother-in-law.
Yep.
But anyway, yes, so that's my plug at myself, and at some point I'll have an Etsy site up, but that will not be for some time as I have legal counsel that I am speaking to about Etsy and stuff. I should be able to go ahead and start doing it, but
just to be safe.
Yeah, I'm speaking with a tax attorney about different things, so I can maybe get my own little business up and running. So if you see something you like, you could be like, "Hey, make that for me," and I'll be like, "Sure." It will take me a bunch of time if it's something like this, but if it's something simple, then it wouldn't take that long. Help me to break away from my corporate world. I hate being in an office, you guys. Excel blinds me every day.
Blinded by Excel. Oh, no, that doesn't work.
It's not nearly as cool as being blinded by science, yo.
Okay, so I'm working on my same project. Always
But he's
the same
got
project.
something new and exciting to show you.
So a couple weeks ago, I had mentioned that Caribbean Island on Reddit showed a picture of having so many needle minders, and they were all nerdy. It was very cool. And so I asked about how to use them. I did not ask where to get them, but I went online to... Oh, stretch kitty. Went online and found that you can just very easily make them. So I took some of the pins that I had from other things, put magnets to the back of them, and now I have a few nerdy things. So we have the legendary from Pokemon Y. We have Mega Charizard X, which I know nobody cares about. We have a medallion from Pirates of the Caribbean. These were just my sample pins, just in case things went super duper wrong. But they're all magnetic, so you can see they all have pins sticking to the pins. Yeah.
It's okay, keep going.
I've also got strips of magnet that I'm putting on the side, which are not staying down very well. So I have even more places to store my pins.
You should do like some wood glue.
Or my needles. I guess they're more needles than pins.
They are needles. But
yes.
Yeah, maybe if you put some wood glue underneath the magnets, that would help.
Yeah.
Because it's just like a sticky back. It's not working as
and it
well.
comes as a roll, rolling away from the sticky bits.
Yeah.
So that also is probably a thing, but I can fix that later. So I'm super excited about that. So yes, later in this year we have a couple places we're going, including VidCon, and so I'm going to be buying lots of pins to turn into needle minders.
Indeed. So today's tea that we're having is just some Twinings. I don't know if this stream. Okay, there it goes. Right. Today we're having some Twinings English breakfast. Very nice, light tea. I realize this is more of an afternoon tea time. But you know what? I keep looking for English afternoon tea, and I can't find it anywhere.
Huh.
The Twinings one, anyway, is what I'm looking for. I can't find it.
Is this the one we were having on the boat?
I beg your pardon. For afternoon? Or for morning?
I don't know. We had a load of bags on the boat.
I think it was English breakfast, but it wasn't Twinings.
Oh, okay. For some reason I thought it was Twinings. But no, it wasn't, was it? No.
No.
Okay.
Not unless the packaging was just different. Because I feel like the one was English breakfast, but it was mainly black, the packaging, with like some gold or something.
Yeah.
But this is just Twinings, so it's got like a red package for English breakfast.
So good. Okay, so let's see. We have one person who has interacted with the stream. Thanks, Mom. And so my mom is working on barely beginning a granny square Afghan.
Oh, okay.
Nifty. All right.
Nice and warm.
So
yes. Ancillary Mercy.
Yes. Which oh, I've lost your page.
No.
I was trying so hard all day not to lose your page. She has not finished the book. You were about there.
Sad. Well, I'll figure it out afterwards. Hoozle, Paul filled me in on the important bits.
And then read the final scene to her.
That's a great scene.
Wow. The big climactic scene.
My favoriteest part is when Breck is informing, what's the lieutenant's name? Trididat? What is it? Tisserwat is informing Tisserwat that, did she call her child? I can't remember what she said.
I think she says, dearest child.
Yeah, like, dearest child, please get some water for that fish. Or for the love of everything good, get some water for that fish.
Darling child.
Darling child.
For the love of all that's good, will you please get a bowl of water for that fish?
Yes, the fish. Okay, so the translator gets shot, right? You know, the, Ziat, I guess is the translator's name. So
who's very happy that she's not, Dalik.
Dalik, yes. But so she gets shot, and everyone's like, oh my god. And then she starts vomiting up everything that she has eaten. Literally everything that she has eaten. Most of which was not food. So, you know, like the, what is that name called? Numbers or?
Counters.
The counter pieces, the whole oyster with the shell still that she consumed, the fish that she consumed, which is still alive. Mm-hmm. How that works, I got nothing. And then coughs
Presker physics.
I guess. And then coughs out the 2 bullets. And you're just like, right, well, good. Like, I mean, good. Yes, it is good that she didn't die, you know, and she's able to go and actually form a council or whatever it was.
Conclave.
A conclave to figure out what's going on or, you know, to set up this new relationship. Or
because there's a lot of things of significance that happens in this book. Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
So yes, I love translator Zayat.
Very fun character.
Comes into the ship introducing herself as Dalik, and
then Breck is like, I don't
think so.
I think you're Zayat.
Yeah.
Am I? They told me I was Dalik. No. You're Zayat. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I prefer Zayat to Dalik. So, alright then.
Which...
Here's like...
Yeah, that's one of the things that I do like about this series. It gives a lot of open-ended questions to theorize about. So, like, one of my favorite 2 channels on YouTube is Film Theory and Game Theory. Mm-hmm. They're big channels. They don't mind me plugging. They're not going to get anything from me plugging them. But, and they just talk about, you know, how things would work in different universes and all that stuff. And yeah, in this, there's definitely a lot of clues of what the Presker may be, because it doesn't seem that translator personalities are attached to physical bodies. And of course, we already know that the Presker don't really understand humans so much.
They don't, because obviously if the idea, you know, is that the translators are grown from leftovers or bits of organic matter, so the logical conclusion is they're grown from human.
No, they actually say from human remains.
Oh, they say from human remains. Okay. So, you know, they're grown from human remains, and you're just like, huh.
And of course, they don't have really an understanding of what belongs on the inside,
right.
Like blood and organs.
Right. You know, like in the last book where it's like bleak, your blood and organs need to be on the inside of your body as she's bleeding out.
Yeah.
It's like, So, yeah, which makes for an interesting question. Well, I guess it's because of the bullets that they used, because Anander fired upon the translator with their own gun.
Yeah.
Which obviously had no other impact other than, well, there are bullets in my gut and I must extract them. But so from this we can certainly come to the conclusion that the Presker are not even remotely humanoid in shape.
Or really in mind.
Right, yeah, they really don't understand how it works, because she has not digested anything.
And like, the fish is still alive.
The fish is still alive. Like everything else, which wasn't actually food, I can kind of get. Even the oyster, because she swallowed it with its shell. Totally. Like, this scene, like, the shooker, you know, he's like, oh, can I have one that you haven't opened? And she's like, sure, gives it to her. And she unhinges her jaw to get it down there, and you see, like, her throat expand as she's swallowing it. And you're just like, right. You know, it's just, it's not how human physiology works, like, at all.
It's a really good way, and I know there's a lot of really good sci-fi out there that does do it right. But unlike things like Star Trek, like Star Wars, and especially Star Trek Next Gen and Beyond, Ann Leckie does a really good job of portraying something that's truly alien. Mm-hmm. Something that we just kind of can't really understand.
Yeah, and they don't really understand us.
But it still has logic behind it. So some alien movies, like, I never saw this one, but it was a recent alien type movie, like Messages or something like that. But the aliens communicate in like circle ink blobs. And then the whole point of the movie is trying to figure out how to communicate with the aliens and whatnot. And even them, it kind of just feels like standard sci-fi. It's like, I'm not entirely sure how... Now, granted, I didn't see the movie. But it's like, is there internal logic? Can you imagine a whole society of them? And like, Star Trek, after the original series... Later series of Star Trek, almost every alien is humanoid.
Right.
Like, every single one of them. Mm-hmm. And even ones that are kind of not, it's still kind of the same thing. And then when you have, like, Klingon society, everyone is a warrior. There's no Klingon fashion designers.
I knew you were going to bring that.
I know. Sheldon Comics, if you want to read more about a Klingon fashion designer.
Or the other hit sitcom... Tuvok, Vulcan Party Planner.
Not Tuvok. He was an actual character.
No, yeah, that's an actual Vulcan. Darn it. That's from Voyager. I can't remember the name of the Vulcan party planner, but he's...
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Very funny.
That's
not the whole comic.
It's not the whole comic, just like a couple
section.
Weeks in the middle of all of his decades of
right.
thing.
I'm rereading it, and I haven't gotten to that bit yet again. We've had we've had the party planner pop up in like a commercial during the Garth Klingon, fashion designer episodes. Very silly.
Oh man. So
anyway, you were saying about the aliens.
Whereas these aliens,
we don't even get to see what they look like. We have no idea what they look like.
We never see what they look like yet.
Yet?
As I said,
Is that a hint to that one?
It's not a hint to that one. It's a hint to the future of Ann Leckie, because it sounds like she's continuing to expand on this universe. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that they don't appear in this next book, but I'm not saying that they...
That you
either way. I'm saying nothing. Nothing.
He's already said a lot.
Except that this next book does not take place in Radch space, nor in the Republic of the Two Systems.
Well, it's not it's a provisional republic.
Yes.
Provisional.
Sphene was very,
it's not two systems, you can't call it a republic. I loved that, how near the end all the AI were calling each other cousins.
Yeah.
I loved that.
And then the station was like, "Can I be a cousin too?" And Greg is like, "You're already a cousin." Or like, "Of course, you're already a cousin."
Very cool.
It's also an interesting way of handling... How am I doing this? How am I handling this? Artificial intelligences. They each have their own personalities, which is nice. I don't know. I like Sphene the best.
Sphene is very interesting. I liked when Breck, so Sphene is getting Rise out of Kalar 5 and trying to get her to, I don't know, trying to invoke provocation or something. But so both 5 and the ship are all upset with her, with Sphene. And then Breck comes in to stop it, and Sphene says something like, "Oh, Meander," or whatever the name is, Anander's cousin or whatever. And she's like, "No, I am, Justice of Torn, blah, 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 blah." And she's like, "Cousin." And Sphene's like, "I have no response." She doesn't say anything, just walks away. And it's like, well, what's the AI supposed to do when realizing that the individual they've been dealing with this whole time is in fact another AI? Not even another AI like a station or anything, but another ship. Yeah. That doesn't even exist anymore, just like Sphene.
Well, Sphene has a ship that...
in the Ghost Gate, right? But she's like the last Ancillary left, I think.
No, she was just the one Ancillary sent to the system.
Is she cut off from her ship?
While in this system, yes. And then when they get back to the Ghost Gate, presumably...
Oh, that's right. They went to the Ghost Gate. I forgot about that.
She, everything gets uploaded and whatnot, and then the ship decides to just leave the Ancillary there for the continuing adventures of Sphene and Torin.
Yep, that's the new show coming to NBC.
The continuing adventures of Sphene and Torin controlling Ziet.
Well,
controlling the translators.
Trying to prevent the translators from dismembering other people's.
Translate this.
Oh my god. That is not the name of the show. That is dumb.
A Republic of Two Systems entertainment.
Oh my god.
Oh man. Speaking of entertainment, when Sphene makes a joke about the egg song, which is our bottles of beer on the wall song, but with like fish eggs. Or chicken eggs.
And 1,000 of them.
Yeah. And how Torin just goes with it and sings the entire song for...
Sphene's like, "You are no cousin of mine anymore."
You're no longer my cousin.
Yeah, just nope, screw you.
Oh, it's okay. So, Mom was pointing out the thought that Leckie likes to point out our unconscious stereotypes. All of the pronouns.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, she does a really good job of making characters feel gendered. Like, especially the AIs that definitely are not gendered.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, all of, half of Justice of Turin's ancillaries were male, half were female, and it just happens that Breck is currently in a female body.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, there's the whole idea of you assume certain... Whoop.
Well, for a moment, it blinked back onto our home screen. With Osiris in the book, I mean. You reading us? Does anybody hear us?
It just skipped. Well, I don't know where I last left. Oh, man.
Oh, there's my hand. Very skippy.
Okay, are you... No.
So the video has always been on a delay, but okay, it looks... Wait, it jumped again?
It's having a lot of trouble. My question is, can anybody actually hear us through all of the video troubles?
Yeah, is it just visual or is it audio as well?
It looks like it's back. Oh, I didn't block it. I didn't turn on this light. So well.
It's okay.
Okay, I'm sure it's fine. Mom will let me know. So, yeah, there's all of that. Like, I definitely had, through all 3 books, my assumptions of gender, which every time I assumed a gender, I was like, no, I'm not supposed to do that.
No, see there, it went back to the homepage.
Or it's back on the homepage. Stream is continuing. It doesn't say anything about it having bad data transfer. It's really having trouble now. That's concerning. Alright. Well, maybe. I don't know if you all got any of that. Very skippy, but you keep reappearing. But can you hear us through the skips, or
ask her if it's just visual or if it's audio as well.
Yeah. So you heard that?
Well, if the audio is skipping, she might not hear us ask, is it the audio as well?
What am I doing? Okay, well, that's interesting, because on my gaming channel,
doing the same
it
thing.
has a lot of trouble, but it says up here that has, bad video quality or not enough data, or that kind of stuff. Yeah, Mom says both. I'm wondering if when we go back in People of the Future, if they will, if they will be able to see it all together.
I don't know.
Once it loads. Because our recording software isn't skipping at all. Which means it's just the stream to YouTube. So I don't know. Anyways.
We're still trying to figure all this out. We're little fledgling people. Did it again! Anyway, we're just trying to figure all this stuff out. On our grocery list that is getting ever longer, one of the things is a better camera than the webcam we're currently using. I think our microphone is probably good to go.
Yeah. We got a good microphone.
Better lighting and
stuff
like that. But
dropped frames 5,000. Also 12%. Unfortunately, I have no clue what to do to fix this. So that's fun. We're not using the internet anywhere else, so Okay, well, pushing on.
Now we're just gonna keep going. Sorry that the audio and visual is being really stupid today.
Oh, okay, it's back. Yeah, that's annoying.
That's really annoying, and we're really sorry about that. We're gonna try to fix these problems, late after the stream. We're gonna take a look at it. What may end up happening, if this is something that just has to do with our connection, our internet speed or something, we may end up recording them instead of doing live streams. Just because at least that way it won't be all skippity skip.
Yeah, we'll have to go back and look at.
Yeah, we'll have to figure it out.
What it looks like after the stream is uploaded to see if any of the skips occur or if it actually does whatever. Mom says it goes on once it catches up, so just ignore it and keep talking.
Okay.
So it sounds like it just has to buffer every once in a while.
All right, well, so anyhoozle. So very exciting ending because it's not as if Anander has been defeated or anything, but what's happened is that Breck has kind of carved out this little republic that is going to be
Provisional
separate.
Republic.
Provisional Republic that is going to be separate from Anander's. So what that does with the treaty that they have with the Presker is that because Breck and the other AI are going to be singled out as different beings, they're not human, they're different. So they're not human, even though they're humanoid.
Yeah.
They look like humans.
Well, they have human bodies, except for the station, which does not have any ancillaries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what this will do is it will get the Presker to meet and discuss it, and possibly separately, Breck can set up a treaty with the Presker, as a separate entity from the Radch society that Anander controls. So even though the issue with Anander of the personalities butting heads has not been resolved, which is interesting, even though the story is over.
Yeah.
But it looks like they might be able to get Presker protection, maybe. Just like they did with the...
Which is another thing that Breck's primary driving force for the first book was to destroy Anander. Yeah. And even in the second book...
Still kind of the primary objective.
Yeah, she was kind of being the fleet captain of this system, but it was clear that she wanted to solve the Anander problem. And now, if she actually gets put as a state of a significant species, she will not be able to directly affect Anander at all without breaking the treaty, which would break the entire treaty.
She would break the treaty. But at least it's a start. It's a break in her territories, in Anander's territories. So now at least this one section is free.
Yes. And Zayat did mention that it is possible for AIs to claim more territories. So I don't know if that is allowed in the treaties for if two members want to declare war on each other. I don't know exactly how that treaty is going to work. So it'll be interesting.
It will be very interesting.
But yeah, that's not this trilogy.
It's not. It was very interesting the way it ended. It was kind of like, so it ends like this. The world ends in this way, not with a bang, but with a whimper or whatever the quote is. The problem is I've heard the quote misused and not misused, but all these different versions of it that I say whimper, and I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe I'm talking about the one where where the dog is upset and so the dog is whimpering, but it doesn't matter. Again, referencing Sheldon Comics.
Oh, okay. Oh man. So Tisserat really grew into her own this book. Now you did not get to the point to really see her in action.
No, but I know that she remained loyal to Breck and fooled Anander, which is pretty cool. I liked that. I liked how she was like, oh, Brooke was so horrible at being this. No, seriously, she totally was. Aha, I got you.
With her big puppy dog purple eyes.
Lilac
eyes.
Lilac eyes. Hi, sis. What you doing?
But yeah, she also came into her own a lot in last book.
Yes, she did.
And for being, a baby commander, as they're called,
baby
and
lieutenant. Hi.
having Anander just usurp her mind for a bit, and then come out of it with kind of like a mixture of Anander and herself. Yeah, she's definitely really grown a lot. And the question, of course, remains is part of her ability to lead coming from Anander, who's taken over her, or was that something that she was always possibly capable of? And there's really no way to tell anymore.
Oh.
Not for you. No. Oh. But we gave him turkey and roast beef earlier. Just itty bitty slices. Now he wants all the things. But yeah, so Tisrat was really good. Syvarden, now you didn't see any of this, but Syvarden, after he failed his mission, now him talking to Anander was really good. That was a cool scene, which you will look forward to reading
when
one day.
Finish it.
But,
you know what I have to finish? I have to finish Summer Night. I have to finish Death Masks. And I have to finish Ancillary Mercy. I'm so behind, Osiris. Oh my god.
And you need to get next week's book, which is going to be the next Hitchhikers.
Okay, well, Hitchhikers is fine. Hitchhikers are, they average like 130 pages. So those are easier. The books that I'm behind on are like 300 pages a pop. And the problem is that I've actually been doing work at work. I know.
Shame.
It's horrible, but I'm trying to work my way into being comfortable with the idea of leaving. So I want to get all my work done and then get my stuff, in order, my little instruction manuals and whatnot.
Yes.
I have one paw on my thigh.
And that is very adorable.
Cyrus, why are you so cute?
Oh, man. So, yeah, one of the big things from the as I was mentioning with the Presker...
You can't even see him, because he's black, and what I'm wearing is black.
Yeah.
You can't, he's
can't
here.
Be seen.
He's here, you guys. Can you see him? Look.
It's very clear that the Presker have... What have I done? Oh, I see what I've done. Ow. I've jabbed myself with a needle. Ow.
There.
There.
So
yeah, Presker have no ideas, poor kitty,
you see him perfect
of how humans work. And when translator Dalik first appeared on the station and was told that she was not Dalik, but instead Ziat, completely new personality, talks about their background, talks about Dalik as if that's... And it's weird because it's like the Presker send the translators out and the personalities are almost like a rank. Not necessarily like a hierarchical rank, but you're going out like as a captain or as a lieutenant and somebody tells you, no, you're a captain. And you're like, okay, I can be a captain.
It is weird.
But with personalities instead of...
Yeah, because at one point, Breck was like, oh, do you want to go back? And Zeke's like, oh no, I don't want to go back because everyone's going to call me Bleak if I go back. So I'd
be
rather...
like, hey, look, Delik's back. And then I'd have to explain what happened to Delik. And
it'd get awkward.
Yeah, so it raises a lot of questions and has like a lot of theory to it. Just how the Presker possibly work. And I don't know, I almost feel like they're a bit amorphous. That it gives that feel, especially in their personalities.
Stop saying What I was saying when I was reading about it, and all of everyone's kind of... Presker translators make them really, really nervous. Because, like, with Leek, she would, just because she was bored or curious, she would just dismember people. Like, she did it to her sister. Like, just put her totally inside out. To be like, oh, what's this? Where does this go? You know, blah, 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 blah. All this. And the reaction was almost, to me, it reminded me a lot of how the Firefly universe reacts to Reavers.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they all... Well, what was the line? What was the line that Zoe said?
Oh, it's bad.
Let's see, what is it? They'll
kill, rape, and wear your skins.
Yeah, it's like they'll rape us to death, skin us, and then wear their skins. And if they're very, very lucky, they'll do it in that order. Like, you know, that kind of stuff. So it kind of reminds me of that because... Especially with Dalik, it seemed like that's something she would do just because she was bored or curious about something.
Which is why second translator was happy that she was not Dalik.
Yes. Yeah, apparently Dalik was kind of not unique, but that was just the personality of a Dalik or the Dalik or whatever it is. I'm gonna go poke the fire.
Okay. But then, so that's a lot of theory bait. Of what's going to happen, what the Presker are actually like. It definitely feels like there's logic behind them. Like, I'm pretty sure that Ann Leckie kind of has a decent idea of what she's going to do with the Presker. Or what the Presker are. And we'll just have to wait to learn that. We also have all of the thoughts that comes from, well... What's going to happen with AIs being a significant species?
Yeah,
when
what's happening with the ships and the other stations?
Yeah, when almost every Radch citizen is wholly dependent on AIs.
Right, their station or their ship. Yeah. And, you know, and Ander brings that up and like, oh, but the whole survival of all these people, blah, blah, blah. And Breck is like, yeah, that's what you built me to do, to keep my people safe. Do you think I've done a good job? I can just see the eye twitch.
Yeah. And then brings up how the station Athawek, you know, has been doing a better job protecting the Radch citizens than Anander was, who was just
absolutely
causing all sorts of trouble.
She did. She completely killed the people in that shuttle. Those two little coffee cakes are yours, please.
Okay. So that was really cool. Yeah, the middle part of this book was a little bit slower and more anticipatory. And these books, as a trilogy, don't really have too much action to them. But then they have scenes that are, like, really good. Like, the final scene where they confront Anander. I know. No. And then also when Breck is outside the ship firing the Presker gun at the three ships that Anander brought. Shush.
And they go explode. Which no one really expected them to go explode, but apparently that's what the
Presker guns were made for.
Right. It wasn't so much the guns as it was the bullets.
Yeah.
Which were like, okay. And by a happy coincidence, they also happen to pierce the armor.
Yeah.
Yay.
The armor piercing for 1.11 meters.
Yep.
Which, also brings up the idea of... Mom is asking, did I say the Presker are in the fourth book? I am giving no spoilers about the fourth book. I'm pretty sure that in future books... that Ann Leckie writes, I feel like she's going to keep staying in this universe, which I hope.
And you meh.
I know. And hopefully, using knowledge of the first three books and not the fourth book, hopefully we do get to see a lot more about the Presker. But I will give no spoilers about whether or not the Presker are in the fourth book.
Okay. But, so the series as a whole, I think was...
Or the trilogy?
Yes,
yeah.
I meant trilogy. The trilogy as a whole, because since we're at the end of the trilogy.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it. It was a little weird to get into at first, especially with the first book, because the first book you're being introduced to the whole idea of it's not so much, it's pretty much a genderless society, and the feminine is just the default to refer to you as, but it really doesn't matter.
Which is
interesting.
Something that gets brought up in the fourth book, not spoilers, but mentions that about how in Radch language, all the pronouns are the female pronouns. Yeah. And you learn a little bit more about other societies and their pronouns in the fourth book. Yeah. Not too much of a spoiler.
It's kind of like with... it's kind of like with Japanese language. The Japanese language has no gender-specific anything. There are no pronouns with the exception of I. So men might say boku.
Well, you also have,
masculine.
From like the One Piece review we just did, Aniki and Aneki.
That's
so you
true.
have big sister, big brother.
True. But you don't have he or she, okay? And unlike in Latin-based languages, like in Spanish, French, or Italian, you don't have nouns like chair or dress, which are specifically male or female. So I don't know if maybe she's pulling from that idea.
Well, one interesting thing about it, I think she's just interested in pronouns in language, just in general. It has that feel. But one thing that I clued into...
Hi, precious.
Really, is that in Radch language, the pronouns are the female pronouns. It's not like that they are just generic pronouns and Ann Leckie is writing them as female to make us not think of them as gendered. But no, it's actually a gendered female pronoun.
Yeah, like sister, daughter,
which is why
mother.
When they speak in other languages, like we saw Breck do in the beginning, they have trouble accidentally saying she or her or female pronouns in the new language all the time.
Yeah.
And so when Athwick Station had that weird festival and the weird...
the genitalia festival?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the idea that somebody would be confused that all Radch are female, it is potentially that because... First of all Radch dress ambiguously. Mm-hmm. You don't know. And they always use the female pronoun. So it could be that somebody did actually think that everyone in Radch society was actually female.
Everybody is a woman. Like in Lord of the Rings, there are no female dwarves. Don't be ridiculous. They're all dudes. But so, if you're getting into the series... the first book, as I was saying, is a little tricksy because it does do the jump, from present, what's actually going on, to the flashback of what happened and what led, essentially, Torn to pursue this, or Breck, to pursue this line of what's happening. But, it's a little disappointing. It's kind of like in... A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket, which is a series of 13 books. And when you get to the end of the series, it's a little anticlimactic. Because nothing really gets resolved. One of the great mysteries still doesn't get answered. One of the questions, if somebody is alive or not, doesn't really get answered. And this book, oddly enough, it does the same thing. It does the same thing because nothing gets resolved really with Anander, with the fact that the individual is no longer individual, but is in fact at war with itself and is more of an AI than anything else nowadays. And so the system as a whole, the Radch system as a whole, we've not solved this problem, but we've kind of solved it for our main characters.
Yeah. So our main characters got resolved.
Right.
Resolutions to their own issues. Like, Brooke set out for revenge. That's what she wanted. But what she needed was just to be able to take care of people, basically.
True.
And start her own civilization.
This is where I'm going to be from now on. Blah, blah, blah.
So that's kind of what she needed. And then that was the resolution of her plot. And letting Anander still be alive, letting the Radch still exist, allows
Siphon really
us to continue in the universe.
Siphon? Was that the name of the other ship?
Which one?
Siphon? The Ancillary.
No.
No, what was the name?
Of which ship?
The one that came through Ghost Gate. Sphene. You're
mixing like Cyberden.
I was mixing all sorts of names up.
Cypher Rage.
Look, Cypher Rage! Okay, sorry, that's something completely different. She took a lot of proper names from a lot of different cultures, including Indian and Chinese, which is why the names are a little tricky for an English speaker to wrap their tongue around.
Wrap around the phonemes, yeah.
But I did like how she kept wanting to throttle Anander. Like, I must do this. Yeah, still saying it in her calm ancillary voice.
Yes.
Which is so funny to me. I love how the ancillaries have the computer-like calm, or they'll maintain their computer-like calm externally.
Yeah.
Because they're not entirely certain what the face should look like, how the body should be moving, if at all, kind of thing. So it's just a robot that's pissed off at you, and it doesn't raise its voice, or anything like that. It'll just kill you real fast. And so I like that about the ancillaries. And I kind of also I know that Breck didn't like it, but I liked how the officers aboard Mercy of Kalar emulated ancillaries, or did their best to emulate ancillaries. I really liked that. And in the end, that, a lot of them they were really okay with the idea of ship borrowing their bodies, as it were, to speak directly to somebody, or even to perform an action, or something like that. Because, of course, at the end of the second book, we get that, where Ship just wanted to comfort Breck.
Right.
Just wanted to be like, I know I can't be your ship, even though I am your ship because you're my captain. But, I know you're an ancillary without a ship, and I'm a ship without any ancillaries. We can't make it work because, Breck would get swallowed up by the Mercy's AI, because there's just so much more than just the one ancillary. But they can still be there for each other. Yeah. Which kind of starts the whole cousin situation, I feel like. Which I really, really liked. So I like the way that Leckie writes these AIs. Mm-hmm. Because they're AIs, but they're not really supposed to have emotion, and yet they do, because they need to have enough emotion where they can be loyal. Right. That was one of the main reasons that Anander did that. But they couldn't make she had to pull back on the whole idea that they could love, because if they became way too loyal to a captain, if the captain was killed or something were to happen to it, they could spiral into depression and become a ship, which happened.
Also brings up, or one of the very fun things is they talk about all those old romance stories, not in the romance novel style, but the
what? Kitty.
But like all these old classic movies that are seen as silly nowadays. Yeah. And just having all these old stories about ships that go wild because their captain died, the captain they love died, and all these fun super old movies, which kind of parallels some of our older movies. Not exactly, because lack of sci-fi and all that, but it adds a lot of. She's really good at adding both horizontal depth with the Presker and the other alien or other significant species that are kind of out there, as well as other human civilizations, but also the historical depth of you believe that there's a lot of history here. You believe that the characters know bits and pieces of history as much as anybody here knows history to a greater or lesser extent.
Her world building is done very, very well. She understands the idea of the evolution inherent in making an AI, especially a ship or station AI, where their responsibility is straight up to take care of their human occupants. And I really have mixed feelings with the idea that ancillaries will no longer be created. Now, of course, they were toying with the idea of how they would create more ancillaries. Like, would they clone their existing ancillaries if they're not going to use humans? Trying to figure this out. But I don't know. Before anyone knew that Breck is an ancillary, they all thought that she was special missions.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. And so, she's in she's on Mercy? Yeah, she's on the Mercy, and she's trying to let off some steam because she's just pissed about everything. And so she's going through this shooting gallery kind of thing, and the ship is sensing her anxiety because all of her implants are hooked up to medical, and so the ship can, look at her heart rate and look at her breathing and all that, and can see, well, she's still pissed off. She's not letting out enough aggression. Let me make things different, more difficult, blah, 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 blah. Does everything it can, and still she's able to take out all of the targets and doing all this. And some of her deckhands are watching her, including Sideward. We discussed this last time. We discussed the second book. And, they're like, whoa, if that's what special missions is like, because she's moving with inhuman speed. Mm-hmm. Because they don't realize, well, she's not human. Because an ancillary has so many implants that to call an ancillary human anymore is not accurate. They're more like the Borg. They're more like androids. So, because they've got just so much circuitry. They'll Darth Vader, he's more machine now rather than that. Is the whole idea, is the bionic woman, Again, all the circuitry and stuff going on in there. So it's a cool concept that I thought was really very interesting, especially since the AIs who had control over these ancillaries. I mean, we're not too fond of Sword, of whoever who is helping out the stupid captain who was being stupid.
Ataragus.
Yeah, that guy. Who, let's be honest, that was a dude. Let's just be totally honest here. No offense.
Maybe.
I'm just saying.
Maybe.
That was a dude.
It's your assumption.
It is my assumption, but as a woman wrote the story, I'm just... Anyway.
It was definitely inspired by the male.
Yeah, by how the testosterone individual would probably react to certain situations. But in any case, I found it really fascinating, and I was torn when, the whole subject of whether or not people should continue using ancillaries for ships kind of came up. And when we're flashing back to Lieutenant Ann and everything that happened there, I should really highlight those things in different colors so I don't forget about them. Sorry, I'm looking at my pattern and I'm like, there was a priest, I believe, on the planet who was saying they're not too comfortable with the idea of human soldiers coming in instead of ancillaries.
Oh yeah, way back in the first book.
Right, yeah, way back in the first book, because an ancillary, if you need to be stopped, or if you just need to, be killed, or whatever needs to happen, they're going to do it quickly, they're going to do it efficiently. If you need to be stopped, they will hold you. And because they're, inhumanly strong and fast, a regular human is not going to be able to break away. An ancillary is not going to just beat you because they want to feel superior, or rape you, or, do anything else because they want to feel elevated. It's a computer. It has no need to feel elevated. It just needs to keep the calm. And I thought this was a pretty good argument. I was like, this makes complete sense to me.
Yeah.
I would much rather have ancillaries around as police or soldier, because exactly that. They're not going to be, high on a drug. They're not going to just be crazy. They're not. Yeah. It's just going to be an AI controlling everything, keeping the calm. And all they want to do is keep the calm.
Yeah. But unfortunately, it takes kind of like a living human to make one.
Exactly. That's the
and basically
wrinkle.
murder that human, yeah.
That is the wrinkle. And we do actually get to see in one of the flashbacks, one of the reasons why Torn liked Ann so much, Lieutenant Ann, was because there was, a new ancillary was being created. And the medic decided against using,
yeah.
I don't remember what it was, decided against, I think, just drugging the individual and putting them under, but instead they were fully conscious and aware of what was happening. So the battle, essentially, between the human and the AI took place while the AI basically assimilated and killed that individual's mind, completely destroying them. And it's an uncomfortable experience for the AI. So while Ann didn't necessarily care about the human that this was being done to, the disorientation that the ship itself experienced, having now taken over this new body and trying to figure out how it worked, and had to overcome nausea and, all this stuff, dizziness and whatever, and, Ann was, do not, what did she say? Something like, do not upset my ship.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Was very upset with Medic. So it is kind of a terrifying situation for the individual, for obviously the person who's being killed, because just like with Lieutenant Tisserwat, same thing happened, because the AI had to assimilate Tisserwat, but it doesn't always go over well. And in her case, it did not go over well. She was still continually sick. She had headaches. She was fatigued. She was nauseous. All this stuff.
And because part of that was Anander has always cloned herself to be her own body.
Right. So she's just raised the clones to be...
Right. So it's still her that she's putting her brain into, whereas Tisserwat, whereas ships were kind of built to overtake other personalities. So that's one hiccup between, of Anander trying to put her personality in somebody else. But another is she just, the No More Wars Anander just did not have enough time to, really do it right before sending Breck away. So had to, really quickly just take someone, and then, within a course of a week or two, do this operation and get them to basically be another Anander, and it just didn't take.
Even less than that, because if you'll recall, the, what was her name? The lieutenant who was in relationship with Ann, I can't remember her name now.
Skyet or something.
Something like that. But she had already met with Tisserwat the previous day.
Oh,
it was the previous day, or even that morning. It was only a few hours.
Yeah.
And so that was real fast.
Yeah, it's put it in, send them out. They're going in gate space. No way of monitoring them. Just kind of hoping it takes it. Yeah, that was just a...
That's a bad move.
Well, it was, a high risk, move. And to be fair, one of the best ways Anander probably could have gotten under Breck's skin is by doing nothing and not sending any of herself along.
That's true. That would have driven Breck insane.
Yeah, it's who, what, where, when.
There must be something under my nose that must be done. I get that. Oh my gosh, so many. Let's see here.
But, of course, it backfired on Anander because, it kind of worked as a weapon to the other Anander, because now Tisserwat was able to basically free all the AIs from their override commands and gave the ships their own override commands. So now they are free.
Sorry to count out my pearls.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I had a lot.
So that's interesting. All in all, this series, for me, and again, I think this was the first 3 books she's ever written, which is, hey, all all respect for that. Anybody who can actually publish a book,
oh yes,
you know, a little bit of respect there.
But then winning like 4 or 5 awards.
Yeah, she won a lot. Now I don't know. I mean, it's by all the awards I believe are by year or something. I don't know exactly how the Hugo and Nebula awards are handed out. Like, is this trilogy the best sci-fi of all time? No, I don't think so. But it's really good. It opens up, like I said, it has a lot of breadth in a lot of different dimensions. And it raises a lot of questions that you don't get resolved, except for you. Because it gives Ann Leckie more room to play with in future books.
No, I'm trying to get up, kitten.
And I'm super excited about future books. The next book, as I mentioned, is different characters, not in Radch space or... Oh my goodness, he's in your spot.
Of course he is.
Or in the 2 system space. So it's outside of it, and takes place not too long in the future after these events happen. So it's kind of a still continuation of this world. It's just we're jumping ship.
You're hilarious.
I know. So I don't know if Providence is going to turn into another trilogy. And everything I say is pretending I haven't read Providence yet, really. So I'm not giving any clues away to that. But it feels like she's going to be writing a lot of books in this universe, which I'm pretty excited about.
Kitty.
So yeah, that's this book. I'm glad I randomly picked up the box. Actually, I think I have the box right here. It is just covered in like awards and praise and all this stuff. And yeah, so this is what the box looks like. And it's just all the quotes on the back, on the front, the modern masterpiece that begins with Ancillary Justice, the only novel in history to win every major science fiction award. And yeah, just all of this praise and all of praise. And I'm like, as I'm picking up, I'm like, somebody thinks it's good. And I wasn't 100% sure, but I was, coming off on kind of the downer of all of my favorite stories that I like for, the stories or for some of the characters being all, kitten has a box on his head, being all like written by men and being to different extents misogynist. I was like, I need a woman writer. I know my mother was going to be sending us some books, which we will be reviewing some of them in a few weeks. But it's like, you know what? I'm just going to pick up this trilogy. It's a box set. It's apparently won every science fiction award. So I gave it a shot, and I'm really happy that I did.
Yes, I am happy that we're reading a science fiction, a modern science fiction, first of all, because the other ones we've read...
Oh, yeah.
In terms of sci-fi, I guess the only series we've really been reading that's science fiction is Hitchhikers, which, of course, was written in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Did we review something? Hold on, let me... Myth, One Piece, Dresden, Hitchhikers. We did iRobot.
Oh, iRobot, which again written in the 60s. But
Yeah.
So my point is that it's nice to get a science fiction series where not even so much that there were female protagonists, but that was just, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It strictly did not matter. Which again, it takes a little while to wrap your brain around. Even I admitted that in the first book, I was excited when I was like, oh, okay, Cy Barden is a male. And, okay, Breck is female. Like, it was easier for me to...
Visualize
them. Side note, I was surprised that they didn't end up together. But also, I am pleased.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we love Osiris.
Yes,
says
of course we do. Ooh.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy they did not end up together. And as many conventions as Ann Leckie has been breaking... and as many conventions as she's been following, the balance of which ones she follows and which ones she breaks made me really think that Breck and Cy Varden would not end up together. And I was happy to see that happen, or that did not happen.
Yeah.
And so that's good. And Cy Varden was, to me, a really good character because... So, I am always a bit skeptical about movies, especially from the 90s or early 2000s, where it's a white guy in a martial arts film. Because it usually happens where it's a white male kid, ends up in an Asian society, and by the end of the movie, they are the most powerful martial artists, even though all the other Asian martial artists have spent their whole life training, but oh no, a life of training is not enough to be powerful. It's gotta be the white guy. So I always get upset with that, and I'm happy when movies don't do that. So like The Forbidden Kingdom with Jackie Chan, Jet Li, I can't remember either of the two girls' names, so I'm a misogynist. No, just Jackie Chan and Jet Li are just so famous.
Well known. And the women, actually,
one of them is really well known that I should remember, but I'm failing.
Really? Was it Jade?
Lucy Liu? No, not Lucy Liu. That's... Hold on.
Lucy Liu is American.
What did I say it was? Forbidden Kingdom?
Yeah.
How do you do the alphabet?
It's gonna be before How I Train Your Dragon.
Oh, well, even on the cover, it only says Jackie Chan and Jet Li. There was a wonderful poster in the movie theaters where it was 5 banner posters with the 4 main leads, and then of course our white guy.
Jackie Chan and Jet Li's names aren't even in the thing. Li Bingbing, I think, is that guy. Liu
Yifei?
Yifei, I believe it's her. I'm only judging it because I think those are female versus masculine names in Chinese. You don't know.
I'm not sure. Anyways. But what I was saying is at the end of this, or in this movie, we have a white guy end up in Asia and then start learning martial arts. And
From two masters. Let's be honest.
Spends time learning, unlike a lot of the other ones where you have like Kung Fu Panda, which makes fun of the trope, who spends like 1 day training and is all of a sudden as good as the other masters. But in Forbidden Kingdom, you see weeks and months spent and the type of training he's doing. And at the end of the movie, when it's big bad fight with everyone fighting, you can tell that the white guy is not even as good as the kids who come in. Yeah. With his skill and whatnot. Not even as good as the young
Now,
kids. He does have prophecy things going on with him.
But it's more everything kind of lines up.
Yeah, things kind of line up. He's able to finagle things. It's not because he's a great martial arts master. He's down here, but that is enough for somebody who's overconfident to misjudge. Yeah. The ending scene of that I just love because that works. Good. Yeah. I bring that up because Cy Varden starts off a complete jerkwad. What?
I said meth head. I mean, it's Kef.
It's true.
That's close.
It is Kef head. But he's arrogant, all this stuff. And we see about his past where
it makes
he was bad. But then, all the way at the end of this book, he's not 100% better. He has not completely turned around.
No.
He's still him. He's improved a lot.
Yes.
He's improved a lot. But it's a believable amount. It's like going from a 100% jerk to like a 60% jerk. He's not like all of a sudden 100% nice guy.
But he's trying.
He's trying and he's improving, and it's a believable amount at the end of the book. And it's like,
it is.
That's very nice. I really like that.
It helps a lot, I think, that he becomes maybe enamored isn't the word, but he becomes very attached to Breck.
Mm-hmm.
And upon learning,
Yeah.
and he learns pretty early on, that Breck is in fact not a special mission individual or is even human, but is in fact a ship that he himself has served on.
Mm-hmm.
And he realizes he was in no way, shape, or form one of her favorites.
No.
She didn't really care for him, like, at all.
Not at all.
And she, at one point, he's asking her, and I'm using the pronouns just because we happen to know.
Yeah.
Like in the first book, again, we figure out that these two are male and female. There's a conversation where he asks, have I always been this selfish or this obsessed with myself? And Breck doesn't want to lie, but Breck also doesn't want to, hurt his feelings per se.
Yeah.
So she just kind of says nothing. And he's like, like, am I at least getting a little bit better? And she's, yes. A little. Like, she says that. She says, yes, a little.
And it also helps that in this book, you didn't read any of this, or you read some of it, where Syvarden and Ikalu get into a fight.
Yep, read that.
Because of Syvarden. It was completely his fault.
He's
and
an idiot.
It takes him time to figure out what he did wrong, why what he did was wrong, etc. And he does eventually apologize sincerely. And it's kind of in the background, so it's not in your face. And it's not a weird, like, Hollywood relationship problem where it's just drama, bleh, and just drawn out. Like, if you ever watch Friends and just, I can't even remember their names anymore. Rachel and what's his face? Ross. Like, their whole together, not together throughout, like, 19 billion seasons is just the worst.
It's really annoying. I much preferred the Monica Chandler situation. That was funny because they kept it hidden until it wasn't anymore.
Yeah.
Like, Ross was the only one it was hidden from. That was funny, okay? I liked that bit.
Yeah.
Everything else I really didn't care for.
Yeah. So, like, with this whole Syvarden and Ikalu issue is brought up a couple times, and you can see it takes time for Syvarden. He does learn. And, yeah, he grows over the course of this series, and it's done in a very believable, wonderful way. Still don't like Syvarden really that much, but he's growing. And that's a very, very good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, and I like him. And I did actually like the fact that he and Ikalu still ended up together in the end. I was like, oh.
Yeah. See, that was sweet. He earned it by putting in time to figure out why what he was doing was wrong.
Put that there on purpose.
Oh, did you?
I did! Anywho, I did. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, that's this series. I am excited to read more Ann Leckie.
We're a little over time a bit.
Yeah, I know. We're going to, at some point, though, Ann Leckie, or Provenance, which is her fourth book. I was just second-guessing Ann Leckie's gender because of all the writing. I was like, her. Her, well, presumably. Her fourth book, at some point in our one-off series, but we have a couple things we want to do first, as mentioned in a previous episode, for some of the movies that are coming out. So that'll be a little while. We're excited that the new Alpha and Omega book is coming out March
6th! Alpha and Omega burn bright! Super excited. If you couldn't tell.
So, yeah, we're a little excited about that.
Barnes & Noble sent me an email, and then I went to their website to be like, what's the day it's coming out? And they told me, and I got happy.
And luckily, we still have a few years before we get a new Dresden book.
Look, Jim, I understand that you've been through a few things, but come on!
He just wants to make sure we can catch up to Dresden on the channel before we get a new book. Oh my goodness. I am excited to eventually get to the end of the Dresden book, and then we will probably either at the end of Dresden or at the end of Myth, we'll switch over to Mercy Thompson, hopefully. We need to do Mercy Thompson because we keep mentioning Mercy Thompson in Alpha and Omega, so we really need to actually do it on the channel at some point. Anyways, next week... Where did my books go? Oh, they're all the way over there. Oh, things are falling. Everything's dying. Hey, don't do that. So next week is the 4th book of the Hitchhiker's Trilogy. So long, and thanks for all the fish.
Thanks for all the fish.
Which is an odd installment of...
It's weird. I don't really get it either.
Yeah.
I have read it. I've read all 5 books.
Yeah.
Back in high school, though, so bear with me.
Yeah, so it's a odd little thing. And then after that, so one thing I was thinking of doing, and I did not bring up to you beforehand, is at the end of our episodes, instead of just previewing the next book for the next week, we're going to do the next 2 books so that viewers who happen to be joining live can actually either order the books or find some way of getting the books, have them arrive, and be able to read them by the time that episode comes out. So I think a 2-week leeway is probably good. Even though on our 5 main series, which is the 3 long series and the 2 short series, you kind of know what's coming up. You know we're going to be doing Dresden, One Piece, Myth, Hitchhikers, and Radch. However, now that we've finished the Radch Trilogy, as I mentioned last time, we're going to be switching over to the Keepers Trilogy. So you can start looking out for those, but that won't be...
By Tanya Huff.
Yep. The first Keepers book will be reviewed March 31st, so we have some time for that one.
Oh, okay.
So yes, the 4th Hitchhiker's Guide, and then Myth, Ink, and Action, which is... I'm not a big fan of. So...
Goody.
Good to look forward to.
Especially for me, because, you know, I just love these books!
Yeah.
But it looks like we get Oz's mother in this one?
Yeah. Yes.
I do like Oz's family. They're a riot.
Yeah, we get a lot more perverts in this one.
Pervex!
Which is interesting, but a lot of the book is Skeeve alone, so he can't. I don't think Skeeve can carry a book by himself.
No, I agree.
Even though he did, well, no, because even with the last book, he had Masha appear really quickly.
Yeah.
And then
I didn't really mind the last book. I kind of liked the last book.
Yeah, no, I was a big fan of the last book, and I'm a big fan of some of the future books. In fact, maybe even the next book after this one. Yes. The next book after this one is my favorite book of all the myth, but we have to get through this one first.
Goody!
Yay! Okay, so that is our episode.
Which is good because it looks like our stream just cut out.
Great. Yes.
Oh my god. Okay, well anyway, thank you guys for joining us.
Sorry about the stream cutting out. Hopefully, for all of you future watchers, it is nice and smooth. The way we do our streaming, we are recording at the same time that we're streaming. So if the file that YouTube gets and does its processing with and, you know, puts out there as the episode, if that's all choppy, I can still go back and pull the recording we just did and upload that as the thing. So hopefully, if you're from the future, the episode was not skippy.
Hope not. Anyway, thank you from all of us, especially Osiris.
Oh,
he wants to get down so bad.
oh,
You can see how big he is.
oh, poor kitty.
He's such a big kitty.
Okay,
Bye,
that's enough of that. Thank you for watching.